I'm hiking through the national park next to Mount Rainier and just got thinking a little bit. You know, when I'm walking, I'm seeing a path ahead of me, and let me just show you. You see that? It's a long path ahead of me. And when I'm walking, I'm thinking, wow, I've come so far. The way back is going to be that much tougher. Should I just stop and turn around? Because you always get comfortable, you know? You always think, you know, when things get hard, better go back to what's comfortable. But while I was in that thought, I realized that I'm not going to be in this exact position in my life at this age ever again, with this opportunity, with all of this beautiful nature, as you can see around you over here, to walk this path ever again. You never know when you're going to be healthy anymore, you know? So while I was thinking about that, I was thinking about how this is so similar to my journey in business also, and just generally in life. So whenever you're walking and doing something difficult and the journey ahead seems impossible and long, the first thing that comes to your mind is comfort. Let's go back to something that's familiar. And what I can tell you is that the only time that I've ever grown and not had regret, the pain of regret, was when I pushed through the pain of discipline. And discipline will tell you that the road is tough, and that's why you're gonna do it. Just a thought while I'm walking through these mountains. I've been in the States for 3 weeks now. I've been all over, so I started off in Miami. From Miami, I went over to Orlando. In Miami, I met some great people, by the way. Some real insane entrepreneurs in the info space, AI space, sales space, hypnotism space. You wouldn't believe the kinds of people that I connected with. Went from there to Orlando to Georgia. We're going to be releasing a video about that also. Going to be helping out a local plumber who got screwed by an SEO agency. So let's get him back on track. Got to speak with some people who retired from the Air Force. And I've just been traveling all over the States, you know, ended up in New Orleans. And while I'm going on this journey, I'm just thinking about myself when I used to live here in Seattle a couple of years ago. Oh wow, wait a sec, we just reached a little bit of a fountain situation over here, and people taking risks. That's risking it for the biscuit. Just getting that perfect shot. Here we go. Well, I'm not going to be doing none of that. I'm just going to keep going my way. So I used to live in Seattle 10 years ago, a decade ago. And it's kind of funny because the further forwards I go, the more I feel like I haven't achieved anything and I have to push so much harder. You know, if I don't double my revenues every quarter, I feel like something's wrong with me. If I don't start a new business enterprise every year, sometimes even two, or test things out, I feel like I'm falling behind. And I feel like I'm just not achieving my goals. I don't know, it's kind of weird. And I used to live in Seattle 10 years ago. For a short while, not a long while. And wait, it's just a quick break. Look at that, guys. That is beautiful. This nature is insane. Sometimes I do miss moving away from Washington State. But the first thing that I realized was, you know, I used to stay at this place. I'm not going to mention the name of the place, but there was this hotel which I really liked, which was like a lodge. It was like the most luxurious environment that I had been exposed to a decade ago, okay? So a decade ago, I used to go to this lodge and I used to feel like a king. I've made it. Now I was there a couple of days ago and I'm like, whoa, what's going on? This place is a complete shithole. Just view check again, guys. Look at that. And it got me thinking about perspective, right? So while I'm constantly fighting, sometimes putting progress from a business perspective before everything else in my life, my family, my health, my relationships, my friendships, my mental health, my physical performance, you know, my travel schedule. So while I'm putting that in front of, you know, the business side in front of everything else all the time, you know, you get that's the sensation like it's never enough. You always have to do more. And it's not like it's going to stop, right? We're going to continue doing that. But since I've been here, I've been thinking about the 10 years ago when I used to live here and the situation I was in back then. And I am so proud of where I've come to compared to where I was before. Like the gap from where I was to where I am is extraordinary. I was a technical documentalist and SEO specialist working with an American company, competing with some of the largest brands in the world, mind you, to now owning one of the leading agencies in several industries, definitely in the iGaming one, picking up on affiliation, and also being involved in AI and another technology platform. So if you had to say, like Sean 10 years ago, where are you going to be in 10 years' time? I don't know what I would have said, but I definitely wouldn't have said all of those things. So next time you're prioritizing your work over everything else and feeling like you have to keep on prioritizing because it just doesn't feel like you're moving fast enough, you're not doing enough, take a break, take a step back, and realize what you've actually accomplished. Because I guarantee you that if you didn't waste your time and you've been productive over the past decade, the you of 10 years ago is going to be extremely proud of who you have become today. So I just wanted to share this thought that I had while I was walking through the pass at the Mount Rainier National Park. Oh wow, look at this, guys. Look at this. I mean, it's not the safest thing to be doing with a camera in your hand, but this is what life's all about, you know? No matter how much you progress, you should always come back to nature, always ground yourself, prepare yourself for the next steps, and start thinking about why you are doing what you're doing. And give yourself some credit. I'm sure over the past decade you've done a lot. And if you haven't done a lot, and if you walk down that path and you went back, I'm sorry to tell you that you're not going to walk down that path again. That path at that time is gone. Life is all about timing and opportunity. Timing, opportunity, persistence, and consistency. If you have that formula, you will never fail. But if you don't go down the path, especially when it gets difficult, and you follow the same path as everyone else, who just gives up, that doesn't give themselves the attention that they need, doesn't think as highly of themselves as they should, you will regret it. Because you only get to walk down this path one time at this precise moment in your life. So make sure that you are going to respect yourself, and most importantly, when you look at what you've done in the past 10 years, thinking ahead about where you're going to be in the next 10 years, think about how are you going to feel about what you've done with your life over the past decade. So just a little walking tour over here. Thanks, guys. Have a good day. Peace. And listen, subscribe to the channel. We've been a little bit low and slow recently. That's mainly because we've been focusing on setting up some other businesses and getting some things done. yeah, now that they're done, YouTube we're gonna be active on again. So stick around. Oh, look at that. Little squirrel. So stick around if you want to get more insights, more tips. You want to hear random thoughts on a trail, as well as see all of the cool things that we've been doing in the States, especially in Miami over the past month. Peace, everybody.